Do you ever just spray your hair so much and yet you cannot fix the fucked upness that is happening on your head? Hi, I'm mediocre performer Yvonnedeculo. This is just so fucked up and we're just gonna have to move past it, alright? I'm not gonna touch this hair. You're not gonna judge me. I don't have nails. Fuck all the way off if you care. Normally, I believe in a more professional setting, like filming in the hallway leading to the bathroom because it has better lighting. But bitch worked an 8-hour day today and she's tired. What am I even doing today? Today I'm going to be discussing the cast of Season 8 of
RuPaul's Drag Race. Start your engines. RuPaul's Drag Race. Never best woman. Best woman.
I am really excited for this new season. Season 8 looks like it's going to be jam-packed full of a lot of really different types of paint that we haven't seen before on RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm going to be specifically talking about what I saw on the Meet the Queens and kind of discussing the queens from that perspective rather than whatever their social media is or whatever they've done. At least I'm going to try to keep social media and my perception of them out of it. The first queen up on the list is Miss Acid Betty. I'm really excited for acid and other drugs. I think that she is really going to turn it out, and I really am excited to see what looks she's going to put on the runway. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is just Acid's fashion, because I know that the show has progressively gotten more and more like Project Runway-ish, where the expectation of what you bring to the show is higher and higher and higher. And I think that Acid may have kind of a vivacious feel to her, where her outfits are really abstract and cool looking, but may not be exactly the type of high fashion that is expected on RuPaul's Drag Race, if that makes any sense at all. I think that Acid is probably one of the funniest queens that was in the Meet the Queens, and I really am going to be disappointed if she goes early because I want to see a lot of her. Next we have Bob the Drag Queen. Bob being the first name, the drag queen being the last name. Bob's lip-syncing skills are unmatchable. I think that if Bob ever has to lip-sync, that bitch that is going against Bob is going to go down. Much like Coco Montrese, who was a fierce lip-syncer. I think that Bob was really funny in the Meet the Queens, and I feel like her comedy is going to take her a long way in the show. I know that a lot of people are kind of pinning her in top 3, and I feel like she's going to end up somewhere in the top 6 is my prediction for her. Next we have Miss Chi-Chi DeVayne, who in this particular look is really serving me some LaShawn Beyond. I really don't want to compare any of the current queens to any past queens because I know that it's such a hated thing among drag queens is to be like, you look like this RuPaul's Drag Race queen. Nobody wants to be compared to someone, especially someone who went home kind of early on in the game, but she's really serving me that kind of look. And even her personality was a little muted compared to some of the others, and I'm kind of pinning her as going home a little earlier because I don't know if she necessarily has that spark that's like, I really want this. Next we have Miss Cynthia Lee Fontaine, who I am a little on the fence about. I'm excited to see what she brings to the table, though I'm not sure if she's quite there yet. Something about her seems a little bit like the edges need to be refined a little bit. I'm kind of putting her somewhere near like the middle half of the game. Although there are only 12 girls, so the halfway point is top 6. Next we have Miss Derek Barry, who I really did not want to like at first. My initial kind of exposure to Derek was because of Bianca's comment in season 6, which led me to kind of look up Derek. And while I think that she does very sickening Brittany, I kind of am not really into queens who only do one thing. I'm not really into queens that are just like a one-trick pony. And I thought that's what Derek was going to be. But the more that I kind of looked into Derek and watching that video, I think that Derek is really funny and incredibly talented. And I wanted to keep social media out of this. I really wanted to. But I just can't with Derek because Derek is such a special case to me, because Derek is probably the most well-known of this entire group right next to Bob the Drag Queen and Kim Chi. I think that Derek is going to be a lot like Miss Fame, where she's kind of reserved at first, but I think there's just this goofball that's in there that's really going to emerge, and we're all going to be like, whoa, Derek Barry, we had no idea that you were this type of human being and that you were this type of queen, and I think we're really going to be surprised by what Derek brings. I personally am pinning Derek in top 4. It's just me. Next we have Miss Dax exclamation point, who is Violet Chachki's mother. I just have to say that I'm severely underwhelmed by Dax, and I just really did not care for her attitude in the video. I felt like she was being shady towards Derek about the whole drag queens performing to Britney Spears for an hour and a half, and I feel like maybe there's some kind of tension that happens on the show between them. I don't know. I think what really turned me off was at the point where she said the whole reason why she started doing drag was because she was bored with drag, and to me it was very different from Acid's response to why she did drag, which was because she started doing the New York drag scene and it wasn't as vibrant and colorful as she wanted it to be, so she brought what she was expecting to see, where Dax's reasoning was like, well, not everybody was performing to my standards, so I decided to set the standard. And it's like, bitch, are you really that fierce? Like, you look like Milan during like the wrestling challenge. That comment just really rubbed me wrong. I just did not like it. Next we have Miss Kimchi, who I am so freaking stoked is on the show. I was really hoping after I was exposed to Kimchi that she was going to be on the show. I've been following Kimchi's social media since I learned about her from Trixie Mattel, and I am so stoked that she is on the show because I think that she is such a perfect example of like what I consider drag. Like, I think that doing fishy drag is really cool, doing pageant drag is really cool, all that, but like when I think drag, I think really high fashion. I think of like really severe makeup, stuff that doesn't make you look natural and not really utilizing any of your natural features, and I think that Trixie does a really good job of that, but Kimchi brings a certain level of femininity to it, and I'm really excited to see what she brings to the show because all of her looks are very conceptual and tell a story. And again, I know that I said I wasn't going to bring social media into this, but Derek and Kimchi are like the exceptions, because Derek I had like a certain perception of before she got on the show, and I have totally changed my opinion, where Kimchi I just have idolized since I've learned about her, and I'm really expecting very big things from her. Next we have Layla McQueen, and a lot of people are saying that she's like an Adore wannabe, but she said in her video that she doesn't want to be seen as a Sharon Needles wannabe, and the thing that I want to just put out into the world is that just because someone has a rooted wig does not mean that they are copying Adore. Adore did not patent and create the I have 3 inches of undone roots. She did not copyright that. So just because someone does that doesn't mean they're doing an Adore look. And I just find that really obnoxious that people are like, oh, she's an Adore wannabe. Like, shut the fuck up. I was thinking when I first saw her that she was a little unpolished looking, and even she kind of alluded to that she's a little more on the unpolished side, but I think that there's something so kind of endearing about her and so funny and something so real and raw about her. I want to see her go far, and I don't know if she's going to just look wise, and I think going out in like bra and panties and a blazer is not going to be enough high fashion for RuPaul's Drag Race. But I'm still excited to see what she brings. Next we have Naomi Smalls, who I am right off the get-go pinning in the top 4. I don't know what it is, just something about her seems top 4 material, even like top 3, and I would not be surprised even in the slightest if she won the whole damn show. A lot of people are having very high expectations for her. She is endorsed by Raven and Raja, as seen on the last fashion photo review where they talked about the Queens of Season 8, and they mentioned that she's like both their drag daughters, which I think sets up for good things. But if she's on the Raven side, she'll get runner-up, and then come back for All Stars 3, and then get runner-up again. Next we have Naysha Lopez, and I just am not really impressed. I can't judge too hard because the bitch got on RuPaul's Drag Race. She's slaying already. Kind of giving me Alexis Mateo, but she kind of is giving me like a Lisa Summers meets like Serena Cha-Cha. I am not expecting very big things from her just based off of her Meet the Queens, and I'm kind of pinning her to go home first. But then again, last season on the Meet the Queens, I was almost positive that Ginger was gonna go home first, and Ginger ended up being top 3. So I may eat my foot by the time the first episode comes on, but I'm just really not expecting much from this particular queen. Next we have Robbie Turner, who I am personally very excited about just from seeing the Meet the Queens. Robbie is giving me very much this look of someone who was on the last season of Sasha Bell's Drag Race. Look it up. I forget what this queen's name was, but she has the exact same look, and I was just having giggle fits when I was watching her video because it was just like, you look just like her. For any of you who did watch Sasha Bell's Drag Race, she was the one who did Karen for her celebrity impersonation. It was Karen Walker from Will and Grace. I think that Robbie seems really funny, and I'm excited to see what Robbie brings. And Robbie is one of those queens that I'm also kind of pinning in the top. And then our final queen is Thorgy Thor, who after the Meet the Queens, I am super excited about. Thorgy's kind of giving me like Tempest du Jour, but like the Tempest who makes it all the way to the end kind of a queen. I think that Thorgy has a really great energy, and I love her personality. I love her charisma. I love her comedy that she kind of brought, and I just love how she seemed like she was having a good time. And RuPaul literally always says that on the podcast about queens that go on. They just need to have a good time while they're there and kind of just let things happen. And a lot of the queens who come on to the podcast or just talk in interviews later, they talk about how they didn't really take time to have fun while they were on Drag Race. And I feel like Thorgy's gonna be one of those queens who's just gonna enjoy every moment, and it doesn't matter if Thorgy goes home day 1 or gets crowned, Thorgy's just gonna have fun. And I am excited to see what happens with this particular queen. Overall, I'm really excited for this season, and I think it was worth the wait. I know we waited a very long time. A lot of people were very impatient and horrible and rude to RuPaul and World of Wonder and Logo about the excitement over RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8. And I think that a lot of people need to get off their high horses and just enjoy what we're being given, because it's a luxury and a privilege that we even get this show. So, and like drag queens in mainstream media, like that's kind of huge. And to be like, you guys need to do this faster and you need to do it for us and blah 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 blah, like just enjoy it when it comes out and just revel in the fact that drag is being mainstreamized, because before RuPaul's Drag Race, drag was not as cool as it is now, and we just need to be happy with the fact that it exists and not complain that it didn't come out when we wanted it to. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Let me know what you think of all the queens in the comments below. And yeah, again, we're not going to talk about the lack of nails. I find that nails impede hand jobs, so I don't wear them. The end. Say goodbye to her.